Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yusril, the game is World of Warships, and welcome to Two Brothers in Domination Mode. This replay isn't one of mine, it's courtesy of a viewer, Stillguns. Many thanks for sending it in. He's in Scharnhorst, the German Tier 7 premium, well, the game rates it as a battleship. I suppose fast battleship or battle cruiser might be a more appropriate designation given who you ask and her main armament. However, that's a technicality that can wait for another day. Two Brothers Domination. Over on the western side of the map, it's pretty much a standard shakeout to begin with. Adubovikov's taking point in Nevny. T-74 destroyers on the left provide close support if another destroyer sneaks in from the south. Goldblood and Stillguns are working their way over to the north side to provide some support fire. All pretty conventional stuff over on this side. Nice, solid, professional. Goldblood is still stock in the Fiji, but hey, nothing wrong with that. After all, the Fiji's a capable ship even when she is stock. Reaper 666 is asking for D, and yeah, well, I can't blame him for that little glance. Fiji's got a nice aft. Those of you who are watching the mini-map, however, well, you can see the problem already. The west side of the map might be shaking out in the usual fashion, but those three Königsbergs, yep, they're rushing mid. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And the enemy has just popped up. Stillguns has realised what the Königsbergs are doing and is trying desperately to talk them out of it. Unfortunately, they are not to be dissuaded, and the enemy is making its presence felt. We have got a Scharnhorst, a Leander, and a Kirov over on the south side, and that's just what we can see at the moment. The enemy Mutsuki pops into view as well, just as Stillguns lines up his first broadside of the game, getting a fairly decent angle on that Leander, fires his broadside, and the Leander pops back into stealth. She's got enough time to angle up against that incoming fire, however, and Stillguns only gets a couple of hundred damage to open his batting. We're actually going to leave him for a moment and go and join our friends over here on the other side of the map in Suicide Alley, because not only are the Königsbergs heading down Suicide Alley, they are in their wake dragging two of the König battleships with them, who are valiantly trying to keep up. I love mid-tier games, mostly because you never quite know what's going to happen. High tier is professional, it's solid, it's competent, it's boring sometimes, for want of a better word. Mid-tier, oh yeah, mid-tier, you always have that little element of surprise. Although there's nothing surprising about this. This is what happens when you rush mid in Two Brothers in the early game. Augustus clears the channel first, and he runs into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way crossfire, and gets himself deleted just as Stillguns lands his first really solid broadside of the game. Following him up are his division mates. Alfie 87 eats 1 torpedo, eats 2, and the broadside just rearranges the wreckage a little, and Siler Fox, who hopefully is learning his lesson at this point, is now bound to a König and a Belfast. He's flanked by a York. There's a Kirov who's lining up to take a few shots as well, and off to the left, I don't know what it is, but it deleted him. But the fun's not done over here yet, because of course we've got these two Königs following in. They're going to take a little while to get there, of course, but you can already guess how this is going to end. So, jumping back to Stillguns, who is now up on the western flank of A, and he's got both destroyers sighted, the Nevny and the Mutsuki. Unfortunately, they immediately pop their smoke, so he's denied his targets for the moment. The Scharnhorst under Heinz Mausburg is down to 20,000 health, but not a great target. He's still just hanging up, but he is turning, and while he's a prisoner of his rudder, Stillguns fires all 3 turrets, and then he picks up the Leander at 7 kilometers. Bet he wishes he'd held fire that couple of seconds longer, because that Leander is still its broadside. You couldn't ask for a juicier target at 7 kilometers, especially since everything missed the Scharnhorst. Reload complete, he takes his aim, but the Leander is turning. However, he's overcooking the turn. He's going to come out a bit too far the other way. He's a prisoner of his rudder. Stillguns fires, down come the rounds, and the Leander is incredibly lucky that one of those rounds wasn't a Citadel, because that would have flat deleted him straight away. As it is, it's actually Bukitser in the Fiji that lands the killing blow. Meanwhile, the Königs have just about got to point C, so while Stillguns is taking pot shots at the Scharnhorst, let's go and rejoin our special friends over on the other control point, and they do manage to severely beat up Giranix's York. Unfortunately, while they do manage to sink him, he gets his torpedoes away. Amazingly, the Patrician manages to torpedo beat one of them, but, well, you can kinda see how this is going to end. That is a Scharnhorst, a Belfast, a Kierov, a Bayern, and a König aiming at one König. He does manage to take down Comrade Citadelovich with secondaries, but almost immediately gets flattened himself by combined fire. Meanwhile, Stillguns has got to close quarters with the Nevny and finished off a close quarters expert, but the Nevny got to within 4 kilometers. Torpedoes are in the water. Luckily, it was a clutch shot, so they comfortably miss. I'm not sure whether he was aiming at the Allied Nevny or Stillguns. It doesn't really matter. He didn't hit either of them. So, capture of A in progress. The Suicide Squad is, well, what's left of the Suicide Squad is slowly succumbing to the enemy. I suppose they were good as a distraction, if nothing else. Manages to dodge another torpedo salvo, but again, he's got way too many guns aimed at him. All he's really good at this point is bait, because Mausberg is very obligingly broadside on to Stillguns. He's tunnel visioned up, eats another 3,700 from what was a fairly unlucky salvo. Has to be said at this point that if Stillguns had been aiming at the Belfast instead, he might have managed a slightly quicker kill, but, well, you can make judgments in the comfort of your armchair based on the replay. It's another thing entirely when you're in the heat of battle, and you absolutely have to put that other Tier 7 battleship down, because otherwise, well, we all know what Scharnhorst can do if she's allowed to operate unmolested. Turret Kaiser comes round, gets a shot on the Belfast under Vobby Fark, but the rounds go long. Anton and Bruno reload, fire. It's a grazing shot against the train. One round hits the mountain, the others come down. 3 pens and an overpen. The Belfast is probably feeling the heat right about now. And it's about then that Stillguns realises that B is being captured. Someone has come round the flank through D. The Belfast is going up Suicide Alley, which, this late in the game, not such a bad idea. It will allow him, if nothing else, to reinforce whoever is capturing B. At least it wouldn't be a bad idea, except, well, Stillguns is just as fast and has a slightly shorter route to engage, and there's also the new mechs under Reaper 666, so that is 12 14-inch Freedom dispensers, 9 283mm rifles, and 2 half-dead British cruisers. You can probably guess how this is going to end for the Brits. Oh well, I suppose it's in the best traditions of the Royal Navy to attempt something valiant, daring, and, well, horribly suicidal. Again, the Fiji's imprisoned by its rudder. Stillguns fires, slightly overcooked the turn, but he only really needs one round to connect. Connects to, and to be frank, all the armour angling in the world wouldn't have saved that Fiji. Meanwhile, Vobby Fark has suddenly realised just what's waiting for him round the corner, and he, I think, tactically beaches his Belfast in an effort to avoid shooting out in front of Stillguns, which leaves Salaba in his Kongu a little bit on his own. I have to admit, I initially thought that was an arpeggio Kongu because it had no camo on. The replay system's funny like that, but no. He's only got 49,500 health. That's a stock Kongu, I checked. It's only his second game, so I think we can forgive him for forgetting to put on the camo. The guy's got less than 300 games played. I don't think he's going to forget again after this, however. Just saying. Stillguns, I think, was anticipating Vobby Fark making a break from cover when he launched those torpedoes. He's close enough now that his secondaries are engaging. I suspect he's got a high-tier captain on this ship with manual secondaries given the gun performance. Certainly at 5-6 kilometers, I wouldn't normally expect this kind of hit rate on regular secondary batteries at tier 7, not without the 60% reduction from manly secondaries. Kongu is burning, and the Belfast took the risk of a shot in smoke. Unfortunately, when you have got your last known position marked, you aren't really moving, and your tracers are backfiring on your location. yeah, you're kinda going to eat rounds. The Citadel was really just the icing on the cake. Reaper 666 gets a little ambitious, but the Kongu has made the usual fatal error. He's gotten close to a German battleship. And that means torpedoes when it comes to Scharnhorst, Gneisenau, and Tirpitz. Ouch. Well, that's another learning point for our newbie in the Kongu. Never ever get within about 7 kilometers of a Scharnhorst if you can possibly avoid it, because there will be torpedoes coming your way, not to mention the inevitable pounding you're going to take from the secondaries. Stillguns has himself a little cheer. I mean, let's face it, Karkan Unleash, it doesn't come along every single day, along with I believe that's a Confederate he's just bagged to go with his 100,000 damage. And Thasdi comes up with the only possible response: save some for me. And truth be told, Thasdi's doing his best. He's barreling up in the Graf Bay at all of, 28 knots, and hoping he's going to get himself some action. And then he swings the ultimate accolade. Watch the chat. Because in a couple of seconds, just after Toasty Heretic bags his Confederate on the other team, he was doing a pretty solid job himself, but just couldn't carry. Yep, there's the salt. The ultimate accolade, I suppose. A nice little passive-aggressive, not quite accusation about aim assist. As Stillguns points out, you can be fairly sure. I have to admit that aside from that first big problem when Wargaming hadn't locked down the client, aim assist, I haven't seen that much to make me think people are using it. I mean, I could be wrong, I could be lucky, I could be blind, to be perfectly frank, but no. I don't think there's that much in the way of aim assist going around. I remain open to be proven wrong, however. Not pointing fingers, but the fame is full of aim assist users. He meant game. I mean, the F and G are right next to each other on the keyboard, and he does correct himself pretty quickly. Meanwhile, in game, however, Kirito is in a little bit of trouble. He's been flanked by Stillguns, and he's about to realise it when Stillguns opens fire and smacks his bow. Did surprisingly well. I think most of those hit superstructure, because normally 283mm rifles would bounce off a Koenig's bow. The Koenig didn't quite know which way to turn, wobbled a bit, 8 torpedoes as a consequence. And speaking of torpedoes, Stillguns has got his own launchers in the game, and away they go. The Koenig is turning and presenting broadside. Really, there's not a lot else that was going to happen as a result of that. The torpedoes are running, the Koenig is turning, but he's probably not going to get hit. Of course, it's probably not going to make a difference with the beating he's taking from Stillguns' secondaries, and the main batteries are just about reloaded. That said, it is actually a torpedo that bags the kill. Another couple of seconds, though, it would have been the main batteries, which just leaves Toasty Heretic. At this point, it's really about pride. There's absolutely nothing he can do. It's 5-on-1, he's 400 points down. All that's left is to try to at least salvage a bit of damage on Stillguns. So when the 15 inches from the Bayern just bounce off or overpen, that pretty much sells it, doesn't it? Rounds go out, rounds come down. Again, not a great performance from the 283mm guns. He gets Turret Kaiser firing again, bit better, 4,000 damage. And then I'm not sure whether Toasty Heretic just accepted the inevitable, but he actually cuts his speed here and just, well, pulls over as far as I can tell. Stillguns again runs down into secondary range, 6.6 kilometers, and, well, from here on in, all is silence, except, well, for me, as Stillguns just proceeds to batter down the unfortunate Bayern. And that is the end of that. Needless to say, the post-battle results screen is pretty impressive reading. 145,000 damage, 85 main battery hits. He only got credit for 2 torpedo hits, the one that sank the Kongu and the one that sank that Bayern. The others, of course, don't count because they just rearranged wreckage. 7 kills, only 3 fires, pretty much, well, all of those did come off the secondary batteries, he only fired armour piercing through the main guns, as well as the Rampage trifecta of Kraken, Confederate and High Caliber. It's the scoreboard on the team that makes more interesting reading. Steel Guns naturally came in top, way in top in fact, 2,296 base XP. T-74 came second. What's perhaps more interesting and demonstrates that yes, rushing mid can have its place, but as I say, just not at the start of a match, guys, is that one of the Koenigs that went down the centre did get 3 killing blows. Of course, to get those 3 killing blows, they lost 5 ships, 3 Königsbergs and 2 Koenigs. So, not a good trade there, guys, it has to be said. And the Lord Dobber, well, as I said, I think the best way to sum him up is meat shield. Maybe Wargaming need to have a look at how they award XP for tanking, or at least blocking damage rather than just taking it, if only to give battleships perhaps a bit of a boost in their economy. As for damage done, pretty much standard from a battleship. The vast majority of it came out of his main battery, 118,000 out of the 145,000. That's an average of about 1,300 damage per shell, which isn't too bad. Does rather betray the lack of citadels. He only managed to land 2 in the course of the battle. I suspect he's probably kicking himself that he didn't hold fire for a few more seconds to let that Leander smoke end, but hey, you take the shots you've got at the time. Which pretty much concludes what is an extremely impressive little rampage. Scharnhorst is a ship I don't actually have myself, but one of my regular division mates, Master Ollie, keeps raving about it, and I keep seeing reports and replays like this one of Scharnhorst staging what can only be described as utter rampages. I might have to consider getting it. Decisions. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Yusril. That has been Steel Guns in the Scharnhorst, and I suspect there are a lot of people reaching for the rum after that one. Farewell.